Hello, dear listeners. This is the Overcoming Your Story podcast with your host, Miriam Joku. Today, our guest is Ebere Okonkwo. She's based in Lagos, Nigeria. She's an entrepreneur, the founder of MyCareBuddy, a mental health platform that helps Nigerians seeking mental health services. And she's also a mental health advocate, a writer, and a spoken word artist. I will not say more. I will let her introduce herself in her own words. I'm very excited to have you as our guest today, Ebere. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Miriam. I'm more excited to be on your program, your podcast today. And there really isn't much more introduction to do, different from what you've done already. Like you said, I'm Ebere Okonkwo, the founder of MyCareBuddy, which is a mental health service providing organization. And like you kindly said as well, I write whenever the spirit leads. I write, I journal, I also do spoken word poetry because basically these methods are the different measures I adopt to help me deal and find closure with my own mental health because it's actually necessary to be in a safe space mentally for me to offer the same services to other people. So yes, I'm actually very excited to be on your program.
So, just to start with, you're a young woman and you started this, you're a founder of a mental health care platform. How did you get into that? Like, how did you get the awareness of mental health?
Okay, thank you so much. I rather would term it lack of awareness, so to speak, because growing up, there really isn't much conversation surrounding mental health, especially where the surrounding, the environment I found myself in. But the fact that that wasn't a topic that was openly had didn't prevent me from experiencing or coming in contact with certain realities, personally. And I was just trying to navigate myself, trying to understand things happening or why I felt certain ways or why I couldn't really speak to certain people about certain things. And it was just a thing basically growing up until I got to a point when I really did feel that okay, I think I really need to start speaking about certain things that are not very welcome in our society. Because if you would agree with me, every African, you understand, when you want to start speaking mental health, when you want to start speaking things that borders on that, people start looking at you crazy. People start looking at you like you some kind of insane person, or you should be going for deliverance somewhere in some church. And also, when I got to that point, I realized that okay, this is really a problem that demands solution. Yes, for the society at large, for as many people as possible, but first for myself, because at different points in time, I would have felt much better. I would have been able to deal with certain things better if I had the leverage and the opportunity to share certain experiences and feelings with people that will be empathetic with your thoughts, empathetic with your journey, understanding, and not trying to place you in a box. So when I realized that that was a problem, it became a thing for me. Okay, how do we solve this first for myself and then for many other people as possible? Okay, yes, that went on for a while. Obviously, I really didn't know how to go about it, to be honest, until, of course, at some point, I had the opportunity to pursue a business, right? I had the opportunity to first actually to pursue a career in tech, in IT. Yes, so based on what I just already narrated, the first thing that actually came to my mind to have a company or whatever on was has to do with mental health. Of course, I could do fashion. That is what most ladies are about. I could do logistics. I could do, you mentioned them, but really I wasn't thinking about any any other thing but mental health. And so I began the journey first as a tech enthusiast, so to speak, trying to build little website here and there, with the intention of, okay, through this website, I'm going to provide mental health solutions here and there and all of that. But of course, there was a period when I had to really transition from the IT world into the entrepreneurship world completely, but still with the mental health goal at heart. And so, yes, journey up and down, back and forth, and here we are.
Wow, amazing. So when you were going through your mental health challenges, or when, yeah, those feelings, noticing that there was actually nowhere you could get those services that you're creating, actually, did you find support? Did you have friends you could talk to? Did you, yeah? And how do you see for your friends to, how do you, is it easier today to speak about mental health challenges, or the stigma is still there?
Yes, like I try to explain in the course of my previous talk, it's really different based on individuals, right? There are some people that are more open to talk about stuffs, at least to a certain extent. Others are not, based on personal differences. And I actually find myself in the other percentile. I do not easily get to that point where I want to share whatever with you. No, it doesn't always come that easily. So, of course, that is the reason why I actually saw it as a thing. Because yes, I had all these things I wanted to discuss with people. I had all these conversations I would have actually had loved to have, but no, it wasn't necessarily forthcoming. And that was actually what painted the reality of the problem that I tried to create a solution for, which is this: anybody, regardless of your personality, regardless of who you are, regardless of your makeup, right, of who you your behavioral tendencies, you should be able to share your innermost thoughts or experiences at any given time, even if it has to come with the thing of keeping your identity if you so wish, so you will be free to further express yourself openly. So I thought about that and I said, okay, what can we do about this? If we can create a platform that can afford people to have these discussions whenever, in fact, regularly, as as the case demands, before it actually they actually get overwhelmed with different feelings, anxieties, and stress triggers. If they can have a platform where they can be easily, through the aid of technology, connected with an expert, a counselor, somebody somewhere with all the experiences, with all the expertise, with all the empathy, with all the skills to have these conversations with, and then still maintain their identity, you know, that would be very, very beautiful. That would really come off as a solution to this particular problem that has been painted. So, yes, that was actually the journey I went through and the problem I identified, and which brought me to the solution that I ended up creating, which I am still creating and trying to better create.
Yeah, I visited your platform in preparing our interview, and I was very impressed because I see that you communicate like in different languages, in Pidgin English, in, yeah, sort of, this is really good because it boosts it reassures the person coming to your platform that they are understood, and then I saw that you match the clients coming in with therapists so that they can have these very important conversations you're talking about. So I wish that you make it grow because it's very necessary. You are a young woman. How do you see, like, do young people speak about mental health issues more easily? I know that for our older generations, we know that it's not so easy. But you just said that even for yourself, it was not so easy. But what do you see among your friends, people around you?
Okay, among the young, our younger generation, there's still a whole lot of stigma happening out there. that we're trying to cut across. There's stigmatization, there is bullying. Sometimes when some people are ready to probably come out and express themselves and communicate certain feelings and expressions, they get misunderstood a lot. They get bullied, they get ostracized either consciously or unconsciously, and this in leads to those people going back into their shell or attempting to deal with whatever they've been dealing with in different ways and methods. Some of them resort to drug abuse, some of them resort to extensive wild wild living, just to overcome certain things that they are trying to struggle within that apparently nobody is understanding, while some people at critical stages, which is exactly what we are trying to avoid, some people resort to like critical depression and of course get suicidal, and a whole lot of them succeed at suicide. And it's crazy, this continues to happen. And when it happens, funny enough, the world seems to be empathizing with this particular victim at this point. There is this solidarity, especially on social media. Oh, what a pity. This happened. This didn't happen. Oh, I didn't know she was going through this and that. And then it happens for a while, but then within days or weeks, everybody goes back to their stigmatizing self, and this keeps on repeating, especially about among young people. And one other funny thing is that even some of those young ones that might actually have episodes or realities with issues like this turn out to be also the ones that would end up bullying another on the same basis. And it's crazy. You A needs this help, B needs the same help, but A bullies B for this reason, B bullies A for this reason, and the whole world is just going crazy and crazy. And that is the more reason, like I've been saying, I think it's really important that these conversations are had, this awareness is created, and platforms like this are encouraged and propagated into the world for people to actually know that, oh, okay, you really don't have to deal with this alone. You really don't have to try to cower into your shell or suffocate your feelings. You can always find expression and empathy with somebody that is qualified to offer those services.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you talking about that bullying example. It's when there's so much shame that people cannot express their feelings. So what they see in the others, they see it in themselves. So they go and bully the others. So it's just like a cover up. They don't have to look at themselves. So what do you think, if you look at like our African families, what kind of conversations do you think would you wish for to happen in our families? If you look at the family today, you know?
It's really going to be wish for a long time, but
Yeah.
then
That's why we're doing this work. Yeah.
nicely though, things are beginning to unfold actually, in our society, especially among those that are more exposed. So yes, going back to the question, it would be nice to have in African communities, African families, an atmosphere that encourages openness between and among fellow family members, between and among siblings, and especially very important, but importantly, between parents and their children. Because most times all this happens due to some invisible walls and divides that have been created when children are growing up. No, we are not saying they don't have a relationship with their parents, but then it's the whole relationship and interaction always kind of boils down to expectations, demands, pressures. You do this, you represent the family well, you be a good child, you be a good boy, you do rewards, do this and get rewards, do this and get punished. And at the end of the day, we find a whole lot of children growing up in such environments, resorting and becoming just maybe a shadow of themselves with so much inside of them, but they can't express them because their mindset have been constructed to fit into that one very myopic model that has been encouraged in that family. If you can encourage more openness, allow people be themselves, allow people develop in their own pace, allow people express themselves. And when they do express themselves and get maybe we are not encouraging you, giving a leeway for people to go all wild, but just give some kind of allowance for some expression so that they get some things out. And if it turns out not good, they will better understand why, okay, this is not good, this is more advisable, this is not advisable. Instead of creating some kind of dogged rules and traditions that people are forced to comply to, and at some point they begin to question so many things which could have so many debilitating effects on their mental health and general outlook.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I also coach, and many people talk about, just as you said, actually there's no love expressed. The love is, have you made your bed? Have you cleaned the house? Have you done this? Go do your homework. And there's no space for conversation. There's no, so how did it go at school today? Did you play with your friends? There's no genuine connection with the child, and then we don't even notice it, and years go by, and you don't even know your child. Actually, you think you know your child. You have no clue who is in front of you, because you never took the time to ask that child, how are you doing, like, how are you really.
To add to that, in most cases, in such environments, we now tend to find ourselves in situations later in life when children are already developed, they're already advanced. We now find parents and children trying to start some kind of relationship that should have been introduced right from when the kids were still in their very formative ages. And it doesn't happen overnight. And everybody gets stressed, everybody gets tensed. People start feeling like, oh, you don't want to talk to me, oh, you don't want to open up to me. But those kind of conversations or relationship don't just kick off, because you want it to. It has to have been worked on from the formative years.
Yeah, built little by little. You don't just wake up and you trust someone. It's built over time. So if you spend 25 years not speaking, where it will not just come like that. You will not just come and confide in your parent if you've never done that, right? It will take some work on both sides to break those barriers and build something. One other problem that keeps me up at night, it's how to raise awareness on children taking care of children in families, like the bigger kids, the big sister or the big brother, but most of the time the big sister. They just have this role where they clean, they cook, they just take care of the other kids, and actually it steals their childhood away from them. We don't realize, give responsibility to a child that gives them confidence, right? But that, in that case, that's not it, that's something else. It's making, yeah, making them become mothers while they're still children.
And not
What do
affording
you,
them the opportunity to grow up gradually.
yeah, what do you think of that? In Cameroon, it's a real problem. Do you see that? I think in Nigeria, it's a real problem too, wherever I
It
speak.
is
Yeah,
actually, but to be honest, I don't exist in that percentile because I am not the big sister in my own case, but I understand the situation. I totally understand it, and it is really, really true. That is what exists most times. I actually look at even a whole lot of children, very little ones actually, but they happen to have been gifted that birthright of being the big sister, and I see how they struggle with that role and how frustrating it could be, and how most times they don't usually have a life of their own, and they are always judged by how well they take care of their younger ones. They are judged by the reports the younger ones give to the parents, and that could have really critical effects on their mental health and whole psychological makeup. And I see the struggle, and I also see the need to really, like you mentioned, try to create intentional conversations and awareness to parents as much as possible, to let them understand why, yes, this is your first child, or yes, this is your first daughter, but this is also a daughter per se. This is also a child that needs to experience childhood, especially coming from a parent. And so, while of course you expect certain responsibilities from them, because yes, of course, they need to take care of their younger ones, but you don't automatically bestow upon them that role of having to physically, mentally, emotionally become a parent overnight. They are not parents, they are
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, that's something I'm very passionate about because it even robs the younger ones of some skills. Because if there's one person taking care of everything, the other ones, they don't get to develop even skills for themselves. They don't know how to cook. They don't even know how to take care of themselves because there was one person doing all of it. Yeah. I saw a blog post you posted on LinkedIn about imposter syndrome and procrastination. I just read a little. I said,
Ooh,
"This is
okay.
talking to me so much." Hey,
That was a
why is
while ago.
Ebere attacking me like this?
I just felt I really needed to say something about this because, well, we all at some point find ourselves in that space, including myself. So I just felt, yes, why not put this out there and see where it
Hmm.
goes.
So, what can you tell us about imposter syndrome?
Okay. Um, there is this psychological feeling, okay, that we tend to go through when it seems like we are being introduced or we are within a situation or an arrangement that's due to some not true understanding that we've had of ourselves or skills or abilities prior to then. We just believe that we are not good enough. We can't do this. Like, are you sure I can do this? And this is really, really wrong because why can't you do this when there are actually people doing it? And in most cases, you might actually even have better skills than them. So why can't you do this? Because probably you've not had the security, so to speak. You've not had that environment that they had. You've not had that opportunity that they had, which probably made some other people have it better. And they find themselves adjusting very well and easily and quickly to such things, responsibilities, positions, whatever it wants to be. And then we find ourselves struggling to accept first within us that, okay, yes, I can do this. And I find that very upsetting because this syndrome, this this thing, whatever we want to call it, actually limits a lot of us, a lot of people from exhibiting their full potentials. I believe everybody has so many things within themselves that they can do, that they can be, that they can achieve. If only, this is no motivational speak at all, but if only we will be able to get to the point of allowing ourselves, believing, at least just believe in your capacity. If you fail, you fail. If you fail, you fail, and you could try again and get it. And most times we never get to try. Thank you. We never get to try because of, yes, that's, I'm not sure I can do this. Are you sure? Or probably you did your due diligence, right? You put in all the hard work you should have put in to get to a particular point in life, and you arrive there and you are already suddenly overcome by some kind of weird feeling and, wow, really, how did I get here? How can I proceed? Are you sure I can fit in with all those people? It's really uncalled for, but then it happens a lot of the time. So I felt if we can intentionally address issues like this, face them, and get to the point where you are like, okay, yes, I know what you are, and I know that this is what you're presenting to be. Then we will be able to better deal with them and make use of our potentials better than we would have if all those things just exist without us consciously being aware of them. So
Yeah, no, very important topic. Especially when people grow up without talking about their feelings. Many people struggle with imposter syndrome, myself included. So sometimes it's really, you can manage it, but sometimes it can take over. But I agree with you that knowing the mechanisms of it to understand how it impacts you and why and what is holding you back, it's really, really important to, yeah. I mean, I want to say, let's fail. That's how we learn. Fail, fail, and fail again. Fail, try, fail again. You will see how you'll be progressing through those what we call failure. And then at one point you just like, oh my God, look all what I've learned. I know how to do this. Okay, if I do this, I will not do this again because I see I learned from the consequences of that mistake. And that's actually for me, that's success. That's how you get to success. You will not know until you try it. And if you try it, yes, it will work sometimes, sometimes it will not work. That's how it goes. That's life. That's normal, you know? And that's how you learn. That's how you learn. No one comes, Oprah didn't come on her first TV set and she was the best. No. She learned, she fine-tuned, that's life. But it's true that we grow up, people want us to be the best at first go you try, you're the best, that's what we glorify in society. We don't glorify,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly, exactly,
we don't glorify
exactly.
the path,
The
the learning,
process,
the
the
process,
phases.
the tears, the oh my God, it's not working, oh I'm not, we don't talk about that. We just want to come and say, oh, I have this, as if it was easy.
Yeah. Based on what you just said now, I think we also need to sensitize, should I say, the public, not just, now we're talking about individuals now dealing with the imposter syndrome, but there's also a place for sensitizing the public, or maybe the government or parents, or the institutions and systems in our society we find ourselves in the country, because they also encourage this by being very ready and excited and always up there to glorify one big, huge achievement of one person or one organization or two people, and just because they did it, they got it right. While there are thousands of others putting in little efforts, making baby strides to also get there. And most of them don't succeed in getting to that point. Why? Because nobody pays attention to them. Because nobody cares when you're still struggling, right? Nobody cares when you're going through all the processes. And those processes are quite important to go through before you get there. And if we could pay more attention to those people that are still trying to get up the ladder. I'm sorry I might be taking this a little bit personal. We would have more people that are refined and really ready to be up there and celebrated. But it seems like the system don't care about that. They just want to care. They are more interested in anything that would also add to their ego, and they identify to things that are already formed. Sometimes I tend to say, don't come to this disclaimer anyway, that don't come and start being all congratulatory. Oh, we celebrate you when I finally get or finally do this thing. Because when I was trying to take all the strides I'm taking to get there, nobody cared. You were not ready to help out. You were not ready to be any form of support system whatsoever, in whatever way it wants to be. But when I did all the due diligence, when whoever did all the due diligence and get there, you want to identify with that. That's evil. I see it as really, really, really evil. So this also helps increase the rate at which people get affected by imposter syndrome, because, well, oh wow, look at that person up there and I'm still trying to gather myself around where I don't think I can be that, I don't think I can do that, I don't think I can get there. And a whole lot of potentials actually gets wasted as a result of that evil called imposter syndrome.
I really like what you're saying right now, especially that sometimes what you see is not what is. Let me explain myself. In that person that got up there and is celebrated, maybe they had money, resources, networks that you trying to
Sure,
bring,
definitely.
you
Most
don't
of
have,
them are
right?
actually empty, so to speak. Not all,
Yeah.
but some of them. And
Mhm.
they just have these
Yeah, the right networks,
advantages. Yes,
resources.
they have
Yeah,
the advantages, the
yeah,
networking, the resources, the people.
yeah,
And, anyways,
yeah. And then where then the person with imposter syndrome even gets it worse is that, oh, they feel like I don't have it, I don't have what it takes to be like that person. Yes, but you're not starting from an equal footing, right? You're not starting from an equal footing. Maybe when you're looking for money to launch your venture, they have access to money and the networks and the people and everything. So you're not, I think it helps people, it's not to depress someone, no, but it just helps people to understand
understand and
in,
better
in
deal.
what system then, yeah, and then you can do your thing without beating yourself up. You know that you keep creating, advancing at your own pace without thinking, oh, I should be like that person. I just wanted to shift gears. I know you write. I also write. So I love when I hear someone write. It just makes me so happy. Like really so excited. So like why do you write? What does it mean to you?
Okay. First off, recently I termed myself a lazy writer. Excuse me. Because, so many people pursue a career sort of in writing. Although, of course, most of them it comes from a place of passion too, but then they create some kind of career around it. There was a time I was, considering something like that, but to be true to myself, it doesn't really come like that. I write spontaneously, and most times I write when I'm kind of going through some phases. I mentioned some stuff that helps me deal with certain things. So sometimes I actually write, and my writing is an attempt at expressing certain emotions that I don't want to or cannot express with anybody, right? So I write them out. It doesn't mean it has to be so heavy, heavy, heavy with emotions. I could write on different topics, but like I mentioned, it's actually important. It's usually spontaneous. Like at some point, I just have to write. I journal a lot with my phone, right? I do that a lot. I have this big diary in my phone. I might not have the physical one, but I have stuffs like that on my phone. So that's basically what writing is to me. Most times it's therapeutic, and when I put myself to it, I can actually, okay, pick a topic and write on it, but that doesn't come often. I need to be sincere to myself. That doesn't happen because most times I would really have so many other things that I should do. But then kudos to those who that's like their career, that's like their job. They can say, okay, I'm working and I need to write on this. No, that's not really me. Okay, I write as therapy basically, and it's spontaneous with me.
Yeah, it's really important what you're saying because it's been proven in studies and that writing like that for emotional release, for processing your emotions, it's really very good. If you cannot say it to someone, like write it somewhere. It has to come out somehow.
Yes.
You make a little vlog of yourself, a little video of yourself where you're speaking your truth that you
Yeah.
keep for personal, write it down, go scream it in the forest, but don't paint it up, don't
Yeah,
accumulate everything down. So what you're doing is amazing. I know you're also a spoken word artist, so you write poetry as well then.
and then you act it out as a spoken
Yeah,
word poetry.
yeah. So to wind the interview down a little bit, let's ask some fun questions. So what do you like reading? What's the latest thing you've read?
Currently reading a book. It's a book that it's almost very popular. um the Lady in Waiting. Yes, yes.
I don't know it, so now I'm gonna go check it
Okay,
out. The lady in waiting.
Lady in Waiting. It's actually a Christian book for
Uh-huh.
single ladies, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
about to be married and all those situations. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Like
currently with them.
advice and
Yes.
interesting, interesting. So what's your favorite dish?
Favorite dish. I'm actually I'm weird like that. I don't have favorites. Like,
Mm-hmm.
someone can just jump on. Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. That I don't necessarily have favorite, but I love chicken,
Mm-hmm.
fried
Mm-hmm.
chicken. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I love that. So let's go with that, please.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
not push it too much. Let's go with fried
Yeah,
chicken.
no, no, it's just a question. It's not even so this if you if you had any advice to give to young women, young Nigerian women about their mental health, about themselves, what would you say?
Quite a lot, but then for the sake of time, I'm just going to say, um, don't restrict yourself. Don't restrict yourself because almost the whole world is set to restrict you, both consciously and unconsciously, both directly and indirectly, both from a place of ignorance and also from a place of they know what they are doing, but they just want to put you in a box. So don't join them. Don't join them. Be ever ready to exercise all the potentials you have, the ones you are aware of, the ones that are hidden that you're not aware of, because there are so many things we can do. I would actually come from a very personal place. Over time, I've been realizing that, ooh, this is not really a big deal. And when I say that, I don't mean it in a way of saying, oh, it's actually a walk in the park, it's nothing. Yeah, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency, and I'm speaking generally. But at the end of the day, it's nothing I cannot do. And I believe that's what's happens. That's the situation with everybody too. If only they would get to that point. There is so much, so much we can do, and very importantly, please protect your mental space. If you encounter any toxic situations, persons, work, or whatever, however it is, we always have that right to protect our mental space. If you don't want to deal with somebody, if you don't want to deal with a particular situation, please walk away. Please walk away. It doesn't matter what anybody says, so far as you are not hurting other people in the process, in as much as you are not infringing on anybody's rights. Protect your space because you would always need that. At the end of the day, that's all you have. Even after the whole farms, even after the whole hey with everybody, which is beautiful, at the end of the day, you only have that place to recline into, and it needs to be healthy for you to function properly, for you to gain closure, for you to refuel so you can go out other times and do all the beautiful things you need to do. We really need to ensure that our mental space, as far as we can control, is sane and peaceful and really is a sanctuary. And yes, please love good. Good, good. Yeah.
What can I wish you? What do you how do you see your platform growing?
Ooh, wow. Okay. Oh, definitely. I see our platform and I would appreciate your wishes and help towards the actualization of that growth from Lagos, Nigeria to Africa to Canada. And we really need it to be a global thing because mental health cuts across space and time. It cuts across Nigeria. It's not a Nigerian thing. Of course, it has structures and systems that, empathize with discussions like this in the West, but it's still a thing. So, and our services also work with people that live over there. So yes, in 2 years from now, we actually see My Care Buddy to be a platform that stands shoulder to shoulder to other global companies and maybe one of the five, definitely one of the five top mental health delivering organizations in the world.
Oh, I love that, and I wish that for you. Yeah,
Thank
it's a wonderful
you.
thing. And your platform is called My Care Buddy, so everyone check
Yes.
it out.
And you can find that at www.mycarebuddy.org and on all social platforms at MyCareBuddy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ebere, for this conversation.
Thank you for the invite. I really had fun. Like, really, really had fun. I'm happy I did this with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm very honored. Thank you.